Good morning, Mike. How are you today?
I'm not happy today because I've seen how much money we're spending on these bleeding migrants, ferrying them backwards and forwards around the country. The Home Office coughing up nearly £350,000 a month in 1 month for 6,000 journeys at just one company. This is outrageous, isn't it?
Would it not be cheaper to just employ a doctor? You know, these
Well,
prices, it's crazy. Some guy was saying, listen, I offered to take a train, and they said, they had to get a taxi because what I read was that the hotels are organized, the hotels that we're paying for these migrants, they're organizing the taxis too.
Yeah.
So it's a big racket, and 600 pound round trip. I mean, these types of costs, they'd make Marie Antoinette blush.
I know. I mean, we had a guy ring in this morning. I don't know if you heard, just as I was starting the hour there, Steve in Herne Bay. He said he took a guy from Folkestone to Scotland, 800 quid in a luxury Mercedes sedan, right? And looking at the story here in The Sun, basically there's a company called Clear Springs Ready Homes. These are the people who provide a lot of the accommodation for these characters. They say they've been using migrant transport in the south and in Wales. Legal documents say that there's a company they're using called PTS 247 who have charged £344,000 a month. And they charge at £1.85 a mile. They're now suing Clear Springs over £2.75 million in unpaid invoices. I mean, that's a taxi bill. £2.75 million.
It's just unconscionable. I mean, this is taxpayers' money. This is all coming from the taxpayer. How can the government explain that type of money? I mean, you couldn't make it up. And why are its own citizens being treated worse than migrants off a boat? I mean, that's the question we need to ask.
This is the thing. I mean, there'll be people listening to this show this morning, and I've been asking the question because Keir Starmer keeps telling us he's doing all these great things for the country, providing thousands of jobs for people. I've asked anyone that can help me to say, oh yeah, I've got a good job thanks to Keir Starmer. He's created a job that I've now got. There are people who can't afford to use taxis, who can't go around, they can't go to the shops because they have to, their car's broken down, they haven't got enough money to fix it. And these people are being ferried around as if they're superstars. Unbelievable.
Listen, they have no intention of dealing with illegal immigration. They don't want to do it because their friends are in the judiciary. They're all making money off it. Yeah. I mean, Epping Council took they took the planning to court, didn't they? Take for the Bell Hotel.
Yes.
They won that, and then the government appealed.
Yes, they did.
And stopped them from moving them out of that hotel. So what are you meant to do in this situation? The government saying one thing and doing another thing.
Yeah. Exactly right. And the government's policy on this is absolutely all over the place. They've managed to send one more person out of the country to France, so that makes 4 altogether. They started last Monday, so it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 10 days, they sent 4 people to France, right? The 5th person didn't go because that's another Eritrean. And they're talking about now it's going to take hundreds of years if they wanted to actually get people out from the backlog of these asylum claims. It's absolutely ludicrous.
I mean, they're just going to keep coming. I mean, if they had an honest intention of ridding the UK of illegal migrants, then they would have changed the laws to boot them out in an easier fashion.
You would have thought.
Well, and it makes a better case for coming out of the ECHR. I am not really for that, but it seems like they're totally against the British people.
Well, it seems as though every other country in Europe is able to manage getting rid of their migrants better than we are, and they're all still in the ECHR. So I'm sort of puzzled as to why we, in particular, have a problem with it. But, we've spoken about it before, and it's the way that our government actually interprets the law that is the problem. It's not the actual law as it's handed down by the ECHR. But let's have a look at what Donald Trump makes of it all, because he was talking at the UN yesterday, and he reckons that the West, because of migration, is going to hell.
When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did. They repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about.
And people in this country saying, Donald Trump knows more about this country than Keir Starmer does. He's actually saying what everybody's thinking.
Powerful speech, and I don't always agree with everything that Donald Trump says, but you can't deny, he's really shaken up politics, and we are flirting with the revolution in this country and in Europe. People can take no more, and they are meant to bust the gangs, and they haven't done anything of the sort. Why can't they stop the gangs bringing in these migrants? Surely that is something that Europe needs to work together to stop these gangs from carting these asylum seekers in lorries and however else they're getting onto Europe land.
I know.
So it needs to be stemmed from where they're coming in initially, right? So how is the government working with other governments to do that? I don't think they are in any way.
No, they're really not, because the problem is the only agreement that we seem to have in place, that Keir Starmer's put in place, is with France. But it's not working very well, is it? 4 people in 10 days.
I mean, it's crazy. It's not enough when you think about the amount of people that are coming in. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous waste of money, and people are just sick of it. They're sick of it. I spoke to a guy the other day. He can't even afford to go on holidays because he has no money, and he's working full time, the same as he worked in years gone by, and yet he can't afford it. And here we are carting migrants off to doctor's appointments for £600 round trips. It's crazy.
I know, absolutely insane. Meanwhile, let's have a look at what's on the front page of the Daily Mail, because things are looking like they're getting from bad to worse for Keir Starmer, and particularly for his top mate and his chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, because this donation story is starting to get some pretty serious legs on it, right? £740,000. He was told, first of all, that he had to declare it by the Electoral Commission. He didn't declare it, and then he gets told by a legal source, a top Labour lawyer, just pretend that it was an administrative error and you'll get away with it. Well, he's in a bit of trouble now.
Well, what happened to all this honesty and transparency? They're mired in sleaze, and they're only in the job 14 months.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, I think Morgan McSweeney's done for, don't you?
100. Well, I think Keir should be done for too.
Yeah.
He's the one. His judgment is terrible. He's, at this point, how can we trust Keir Starmer to employ anybody into these roles that are, meant to protect our citizens? And yet here he is taking donations and not declaring £700,000 donations.
I know.
It's absolutely crazy.
Well, it might be more than crazy. It might be a crime. Because the Tories have now asked for the police to intervene, the police to investigate. And from what Theo Usherwood was telling me, if Morgan McSweeney leaves, he's basically the guy that runs everything. He runs the whole project. Without Morgan McSweeney, Keir Starmer doesn't know what he's doing. And I mean, that's saying something, because he doesn't know what he's doing anyway. So if he loses the guy, he's lost forever.
So as I understand it, this £700,000 donated by I think it was, I can't remember his name, but they wanted to cover it up because it was a Jewish donor, and their excuse was that they didn't want them to know in case it upset people in the party. This £700,000 was meant to be used for what got them elected. So this money got them elected into power. And so that's illegal. Like you say, if that's true, it's a crime. Right.
I mean, his think tank, which is called Labour Together, was fined in 2021 for 20 breaches of electoral law involving undeclared donations. Now, that doesn't sound to me like an admin error. That sounds to me like somebody who's deliberately withholding information and deliberately kind of obscuring the monies that are coming in.
The problem is, with all Keir Starmer's friends in the judiciary, is anybody going to be arrested, or is anybody going to be done for it? They know all the laws. He knows how to get around them. I think they'll wriggle their way out of this one, Mike.
Well, they might try, but I don't think because, I mean, here's the problem. They've got Labour Party conference coming up soon. There's an awful lot of disquiet inside Labour ranks. There's a lot of people who don't like McSweeney anyway. And there's an awful lot of people who've got the knives out for Starmer, particularly Lucy Powell, who wants to become deputy leader. I think he's going to be, because you know what Starmer's like. He's got absolutely no cojones. He's got no loyalty. He'll end up just chucking the guy under a bus if it saves his own skin.
Of course he will. And who's going to take his place? It's I do think he, like you say,
give the job to Coco the Clown for all I care.
They'd probably do a better job, Mike.
Yeah, probably would. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, listen, Joanna, keep your eyes on it. Thank you very much indeed, Joanna.